الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الحمد لله. الحمد لله الذي خلق الإنسان في أحسن تقويم وبعث نبيين مبشرين ومنذرين وأنزل معهم الكتاب بالحق ليرشد الناس إلى سبيل الهدى ويخرجوهم من الظلمات إلى النور. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا محمد عبده ورسوله أما بعد. فيا عباد الله وأوصيكم نفسي الله بتقوى الله تعالى وطاعته. That is to say, my dear believers, all praise, all majesty, all exaltation due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, most high. Seek his help and ask his forgiveness. We seek Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us be asni taqween, the best mode of instruction, sent with us prophets to bring us the good news and warning. The good news of those who believe and work righteous needs, of the paradise underneath which rivers flow, and the warning of the Jahannam, the fire whose fuel and men and souls for those who disbelieve and are haughty and arrogant throughout the land. Openly bear witness and testify that there is nothing or no one worthy of worship except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Allah alone. He has no partners and no associates. Also bear witness that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the slave servant and messenger. What follows thereafter, the excellent salutation. I advise you, my dear brothers and sisters, as well as I advise myself, to have the proper taqwa, the proper regard, the proper respect for our creator, our guardian, and our revolver, and to obey him. Today's khutbah topic is just calling on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by his most beautiful name. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلِلَّهِ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَى فَاتَّبِعُوهَا. Allah has the most beautiful names. وَثُورِ الَّذِينَ أُلْحِدُونَ فِي أَسْمَائِهِ. So call upon him by them. Traditions give us 99 different names for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Every chapter of the Quran starts off with not one, but two of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's unique name, Ar-Rahman, Allah's mercy for all of creation, like cold water on a hot day. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy that he gives in the Surah Rahman that is for every aspect of his creation. And also Ar-Rahim, his mercy that he's reserves for those who believe and trust, who have that tawakkul, that respect for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These 99 names identify characteristics and attributes that we recognize. That while we may be generous, we recognize that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al-Kareem, the most generous. That we may be seeking peace. We might be peacemakers in our home, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is As-Salam. He is the source of peace. So but it is a calling on his names is also a way for us to recognize the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala over us in our condition, in ourselves, in our lives. And so when we call on Allah as Al-Ghafur, the all-forgiving, the all-forgiving, that we expect, we're calling on someone who has the power to truly forgive us. When we call on Ar-Razaq, the provider, when we call on Allah by his the name of the one who gives provisions when we are in need of provisions for ourselves, when we are seeking and we're lacking in provisions in our own home, in our own lives, when we're looking for justice, we call on Al-Adl, the utterly just. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the source of justice. While we see injustice everywhere in the land that we're living in now, we can trust and we can call on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is the utterly just. And amazing things happen when we acknowledge Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as the one and only source and creator of our guardian, our Lord. When we call on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have these beautiful examples in the Quran. That Sulaiman alayhi salam, he called, made dua to his Lord. He said, "My Lord, forgive me and grant me a kingdom such as will not belong to anyone after me. Indeed, inna innaka antal wahhab. You are indeed the bestower, al-Wahhab, the bestower." And after this dua, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives him a kingdom greater than any other person's kingdom. And then beyond that, he gives them command over the shayateen. He gives them command over the jinn and command over the wind. An awesome reward, an awesome response to a dua from one of his trusted followers, one of his trusted believers, one he entrusted with the message to share to us in humanity. We have another beautiful example of Zachariah when he called on his Lord and he had been pious, God-fearing, trusting individual. But he had gotten older, and he had gotten older, and he had gotten older, and he still didn't have an heir. Sometimes for some of us, it's easy to have children, but for many people, it is very difficult. They go through long, arduous processes to have children. And he prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He said, "My Lord, do not leave me alone with no heir. Wa anta khayrul warah. Wa anta khayrul warithin." Excuse me. Do not leave me alone with no heir while you are the best of warithin, the best of inheritors. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helped him to conceive a child, a son, Yahya, whose name had never been given. And Yahya also became a prophet. So all of the good benefits and blessings that his son would give as a messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also helped to, as the prayers of a righteous child, are one of the few things that continue to accrue benefits and blessings for you even after you're gone. Just imagine being the parent of a prophet. And how many benefits and blessings that has come. And so, as we conclude, my dear brothers and sisters, this first half, because I have to move quickly, let us follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's instructions for us and call on Allah during our trials and our triumphs. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the bestower of all goodness. He is the source of all peace. He is there with us in our darkest moments and our happiest moments. Let us show gratitude. Let us show thankfulness for all that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has done and will do and has done in the past for us and is doing for us right now. The fact that we don't have to think about our heart beating or taking air into our lungs is a benefit and a blessing from Allah that we should forever be grateful for. So let us call on Allah by his names and show gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and acknowledge his power over us. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. And so we acknowledge in the first half of this khutbah the power of calling Allah by his most beautiful names, and that is an awesome power that we quite often overlook. Allah reminds us in the Quran that it is only after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught Adam alayhi salam the names of creation that the angels bowed down to that wisdom. And within our own lives, we see the power that names have. And if we don't see it, it's the power of name brand. When we see someone driving an Aston Martin or pushing a Mercedes Benz or carrying their Louis Vuitton luggage or purse, that these names become synonymous with quality and material wealth and status. So much so that people put these things on their flesh. They want to make sure that their flesh even resembles or is associated with these characteristics of quality. You know, you might be rocking the Jordans or the Air Force Ones, and you want to pin your Lululemon hijab so that you can make sure that the symbol shows. These are all names that are associated with these characteristics, and yeah. And I want to remind you, as well as remind myself, that sometimes we choose names from the 99 names of Allah because we want to be merciful. That's the quality we want to show. So we can't be Al-Rahman, but we can be Rahman. We can't be the only one, but we can be a servant on the one. We could be Al-Wahid or Abdul Wahid. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala further reminds us in that particular ayat that I started us with that we should keep away from those who abuse Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's names. There's a presidential candidate that's out there who seems to carry mispronouncing people's names as a badge of honor. I know it doesn't make me think better of him. Doesn't make me feel like he will be responsive to my needs or addressing the issues within my community. And sometimes as kids, we give people nicknames based on the worst of their characteristics. Stinky, booger, yuck mouth. But that's not the characteristic that our prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, did. He would give people the most beautiful names. He would give them honorable nicknames. And so our names are, again, something that we should be wearing on our bodies, on ourselves with pride. That is the way that people recognize us. So when we call ourselves Muslims, we should do things that bring honor and uprightness to the name. We shouldn't be Muslims and be cheating on our spouses. We shouldn't be Muslims and stealing from our neighbors. We shouldn't call ourselves Muslim and be gossiping about people behind their back. Because names have power. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stands by his name. When he says he's Al-Ghani, the enricher, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stands on them. So you and I must try to stand on the names that we have been blessed. If we are named Muhammad, then we should be trying to be praiseworthy in everything that we do, such that we don't dishonor the name that we're given. If we choose the name Muslim, we should respect the title that holds and try to do our best to be the best Muslim we can be. Because our names and our titles have value, they have weight. To call yourself a father, to call yourself a dad has weight. It also has an obligation for you to stand and live up to it in the way that Rasulullah does. So again, my dear brothers and sisters, names have power. Allah stands and enforces his names. Let us try to do our best to stand and enforce ours. Names have the power to lift us up or to tear us down. They embody our aspirations but sometimes they can document our past mistakes. So let's make sure that we wear our names with pride and bring honor to the names that we hold. We don't want to be like a hurricane. When a bad hurricane comes through, they take the name off the list. It is never to be used again for a hurricane if it causes considerable damage. Let it not be our name that has to be stricken from the rolls. Let it not be our name that people don't want to utter. Let it not be our name that people don't even want to say. Let us not become he who must not be named or she who must not be named. Because just naming them brings about these negative responses, these negative memories, these negative associations. May we be blessed to be known by the best of our deeds and actions, and allow our names to inspire good thoughts and smiles on the faces of all who know us. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. رب اجعلني مقيم الصلاة ومن ذريتي ربنا واغفر ربنا اغفر لي ولوالدي وللمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب. أقيموا الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم. إن كان المسيح إلا بذلك والصالحات وتواصوا بالنور. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله 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 أكبر. الله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. إلههم من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. So we have a few announcements. We have a Quranic symposium, which will be a unique experience for many of us here in Houston area, as this is going to be a conference that is led and where all of the scholars presenting will be sisters. It is for both brothers and sisters to attend, and you can see flyers right outside the door. But please get your tickets to the Quranic symposium. It'll be in the middle of November. I don't have the exact date in front of me, but get your tickets now. They're going fast. It's going to be an awesome and amazing experience. We do great conferences here in Houston, and this promises to deliver this. So please go ahead and get your ticket, reserve your space now. Uh, Make sure you make your zakat. There are signs up outside if you're looking to Zelle, PayPal, or looking for a QR code. They're all outside to give your donations, or you can put it in the zakat box. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.